Welcome to Straightway Through with Gina, the podcast where we say it straight, say it true, say it kind to the best of our ability every time. I'm your host, Gina Mangello, and I am here to share about communication. It's always an aspect of communication in this podcast. Every episode explores a different aspect, something that may be an everyday communication style, something that may be very subtle, like today's topic. Sometimes I have guests, sometimes I'm solo. Today, it's me solo here to explore something that happens probably in at least some of your relationships. Maybe these are work relationships, maybe they're personal relationships, and it probably drives you wild. If you're tuned into the subtle realm, what is subtlety exactly? Subtlety is something that is, it's like you ever had that feeling that something's going on in a relationship, but you can't exactly put your finger on it? It's not so clear. It's not on the table. It's not in your face. It's not readily discussed. If you bring it up, it's very easy for someone else to say, no, that isn't happening. And so the subtle realm is something that it's slippery. It's very slippery because it's hard to grab onto. You can't grab onto it because a lot of times things are happening unconsciously in people, meaning they're not fully aware of why they're doing what they're doing, or it could be in you. So we all operate in the subtle realm, just like we operate in the gross, or the it's always hard to say that gross is the opposite of subtle, because I would say the best opposite of the word subtle is something you can hold, right? Something you can hold. If you can hold on to something, then you can say, here, look at this. Look at this friend, or look at this coworker, or look at this sister or brother. Here's this thing. And so, being that I have this thing in my hand, neither one of us can deny that it's here. I mean, yeah, somebody could still deny it, but you get the idea. It's this thing that you have that you can show, and then you can have a discussion about what it is that's sitting in your hand. So the subtle realm is like something that you can't put in your hand. You can't find it in your hand. It's not there. You can't see it. It's unseen physically, but that doesn't mean it's unseen non-physically. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you go to work one day and you notice that you feel really irritated by the way someone asked you to do something. And it depends on the kind of person you are, but if you're someone who has often discounted your own feelings or your own intuition or your own ideas about what's happening, then it's very common that you would even discount this, and you would say, well, I'm probably just, I don't know, I'm not feeling myself today. Or maybe I'm reading into things too much. That is a discounting of what you saw. The thing that you picked up on, the thing that you saw, is something subtle and it's real. Okay, just because you can't see it with your eyes doesn't make it not real. So you picked up on something that came through in a way that your coworker or your boss or your employee spoke to you. And it rubbed you the wrong way, right? Like sometimes we hear ourselves or other people saying things like that. Yeah, it really rubbed me the wrong way. That's that's the subtle realm. Okay. And so we're going to get into that a little bit today in terms of what do you do with that subtle realm? How do you not deny it? That's I would say that's the biggest piece of our talk tonight, is how do you not deny it? Because I want to make the case that if you feel something in a relationship, it could be any one of your relationships. If you feel something, don't discount it. Now, it may or may not be true. Let's say your coworker says something to you like, take out the garbage. Okay. And you hear that and you're like, oh, wow, that didn't feel good. I mean, they didn't even ask me to do it. Like, where is this coming from? Just something about that doesn't feel right. Instead of discounting that, understand what you're picking up on is now they may not even be aware that they did it. Okay. So in your mind, you might say, I think this is like a power play, or I think that they're asserting dominance over me, or I think that they are uh, demanding something of me that is inappropriate to demand. They could have just asked me. So when I say it's what you're feeling or sensing doesn't necessarily make it true, meaning we don't really know what's going on in that other person's mind. Sure, they may be doing all of those things, but they may not be. Something else might be happening. We don't always have that kind of understanding or insight, but what you can be sure of is that something subtle is there, something is happening, something is real, you're picking up on it, and you've got to figure out how to respond to it in a way that takes into account that they may not acknowledge that it exists. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part with subtlety, is that not everybody acknowledges it. Not everybody sees it. So when you bring it up, it can often seem like you're over analyzing or over reading or thinking about things too much. But you're not. You're just seeing this whole subtle realm that other people can't see. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that you have eyes to see that. It's also potentially going to cause you some pain because other people can't see it, and it's not going to be an easy thing to talk about. So in these situations, so I just want to get into this topic a little bit tonight. I don't want this to be a super long episode. I want it to be just enough to get you thinking about this subtle realm, just enough to get your curiosity going about, like, let's say tomorrow, let's say today or tomorrow, something happens. And you have that first instinct, that first reaction, that first, whatever it is. Maybe it's a little irritation, maybe it's a little fire, maybe it's some outrage. Something just pops up from the way that someone has said something to you or spoken to you. And see, do you discount it? Do you say, oh, I don't know, I'm overreacting here? Like, what's your self-talk around that? Or do you say, "Oh, I'm gonna address this. I'm gonna handle it," and then just talk about it as if everybody sees the subtle realm, and then get blamed for being over analytical or an overthinker or reading too much into things or not being able to take a joke? What happens when you notice subtlety? I can give you two. I mean, I have hundreds of examples I could give you because I have been noticing subtlety for a long, long time. And I didn't always realize that other people didn't see it. I didn't always know that it wasn't acceptable to talk about. And so I would talk about it freely, and it wouldn't go well. I've been learning. I've been learning. I have learned some things. I'm still learning some things about how to handle things like this. Number 1, never discount what you see, what you sense, what you pick up on. Never discount it. Don't speak about it right away. Collect your thoughts, collect your feelings, collect your perceptions, let them all be valid, and think strategically about how you would like to respond, knowing that the other person will very likely have no idea what you're talking about because they're not tuned into the subtle realm. Unless you know the person really well. Let me give you an example. I had a conversation with someone today, and I was picking up on something very subtle. And this person, the I believed that there was potential for them to hear me, potential for them to get what I was saying. And so I took a chance and I said it. And I was actually delightfully surprised by how they received it. So they didn't reject what I said. They didn't cross it out. They didn't cancel it out. They didn't deny it. They didn't defend themselves. Nothing. None of that. And that's unusual. That's very unusual. So this person is someone that is, I would say, very aware of the subtle realm. And even if he didn't see what I was bringing to light before I said it, he allowed his attention to look for it after I said it, and he saw it. That's unusual. Okay, so thinking strategically about how you're going to respond to someone where you detect something subtle going on that does not feel good to you, and you have an idea, pretty good idea that they may not understand what you're saying or that they may strike you for saying it. I don't mean physically strike you, hopefully, but they'll strike back. They'll get defensive, they'll call you over analytical, they'll do something like that. That's a strike. Okay? So so let's just think about it like this. Number 1, today or tomorrow, meaning in the near future. Just notice what you pick up on in a relationship dynamic that feels like an injustice. It feels unfair. It feels like an injustice. It feels like something's off or something's wrong, or there's some kind of power play going on that you did not consent to, right? That's something, you're detecting something. Notice that. That's step 1. Step 2 is notice how you self-talk around that thing. Okay? So step 1, you notice it. Step 2, what do you tell yourself about that? Do you say like, "Oh, just put this aside. It's not worth it." Do you say, "There's probably nothing going on here. Why am I so sensitive and picking up on things that just cause trouble?" Step 3 is to not speak about it right away. Take a breath into the belly, let it get big. Exhale it out and think strategy. What's my strategy here? And your strategy is not this thing of self-interest. Your strategy is for both you and the other. Your strategy is for, you ready for this word? Relationship. Because a lot of times in these situations where you're picking up something subtle that feels like it's out of alignment with relationship. It's out of alignment with consent. It's out of alignment with collaboration. It's out of alignment with mutual respect, understanding, and transparency. You're detecting something that is out of alignment with core values that you have and that you hold for relationships. Okay, so step 1, you notice that subtle thing. Step 2, you notice your self-talk around your noticing of that subtle thing. Step 3, you take a breath. You don't blurt out whatever you see, expecting that other person to understand what you're seeing or what you're saying. Step 4, strategy. You think about your strategy. And maybe that'll be another podcast episode, okay, where we just talk about strategy in these situations because it's complex and it requires some thought and presence and skill and weighing some options and understanding how to get past emotions before you respond, right? There's lots of pieces to it. But I think that's enough for now. I mean, that's those 4 steps are powerful, and they'll really help you start to validate these subtle experiences that you're picking up on, and it's a gift. I mean, it's a gift, and it's a gift of goodness, and it's a gift of some pain, because it's always hard to see more than other people see. Somebody just commented on one of my posts, and they said something in the post itself. I was talking about seeing everything. I was talking about when I love taking pictures, and I was talking about when I put my camera up to my eye and I see the frame that it creates, my eye right away picks up on all the things that make that picture or that image, right, imperfect. That's what my eye does. Naturally, it goes there first, and I'm like, "Oh, but," and I mean, that's actually what helps me frame good pictures, right? Is because I can pick up on those things that go, that's taking away from the beauty of this picture. That's distracting from the main subject, right? Because my eye can see all those imperfections, I actually know how to turn my body, how to adjust the camera, how to adjust the lighting, to get down lower, to get up higher. It's a help. But the post itself was talking about when I frame these photos, I see all the imperfections, and then I have to remind myself that it's it's perfect just where I'm standing right now with all these imperfections, meaning if it's things I can't change. It's just, "No, this is it. This is good." And someone's response to that post was, "I get it. I see everything." Meaning all those imperfections, also as well as all of the good things. But that seeing, that level of seeing, when you really do see everything, and obviously none of us sees everything, but when you see a lot more than the average person, yes, it's a blessing to see a lot more, and it's also painful because when you see a lot of things, you see a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to see or that aren't necessarily pleasing to see. But your eyes have the ability to see it all, or a larger picture than what most see. So there is this pain that comes with it, but that pain has a lot of teaching in it. That pain has a lot of goodness in it. The next time you feel, because think about it like this. I often say, "Oh, how all of this seeing, it's painful." But when I think like, well, would I want to go back to a state where I don't see, like where I don't see as much as I do now? No, I would not want to go back there. There's no way. Because every single little bit more that you see becomes something that you can also play with or change or be in relationship to. If you're here, if you're listening to this kind of a podcast, to this kind of a conversation, to this kind of subtlety, you are probably someone that really values relationships and has a very clear view or clear sense of what makes a relationship right and fair and just and good and collaborative. And so when these things happen that disrupt that, you feel it. And that's a good thing. That's like framing the picture and seeing those imperfections and saying like, "Oh, but it would be such a better picture if that one tree was a little bit more to the right." And then of course you can move your feet to put that one tree to the right. But the idea here is that be grateful for what you see. I'm so grateful for what I see, and find a way to make the pain useful, because when you see a lot, there's going to be some pain that comes with it. Okay, I'm going to summarize again because I think this is really, really helpful. Number one, notice the subtle things that come up in your relationships that make you feel like they're not really good relationships. Notice those imperfections. I don't mean things like, oh, if you're connected with someone and you don't like the way their hair looks. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about things like that. I'm talking about you wake up one morning and you have planned to go on a hike with your friend, and then your friend calls you and says, something else came up. I can't make it. Sorry. And you say, "Oh, okay. Well, what happened? What came up?" And they say, another friend asked me to go to lunch. I don't know. Let's just say that that's what happens. And you might feel like, huh, like in your mind, you're like, huh, really? Like, so why did that take precedence over our plans? And you might not want to say it right away because maybe in the past you've been handled unkindly when you bring things like that up. So maybe you just keep quiet, but it feels off to you. And you might even say to yourself, well, I guess, you'll probably tell yourself the expressions that the world tells you, like, oh, you have to just go with the flow or accept friends for who they are. Any of those slogans that make you believe that what you know or noticing there is not something you should dwell on. Okay. But avoid that. Don't tell yourself those slogans. Tell yourself, yeah, this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel collaborative. It doesn't feel just. It doesn't feel like the kind of friendship I want. And when you say all those things to yourself, you're validating the subtle realm that you see. You see it. That's that's a plus. It's a bonus. Celebrate it. You see that. And the fact that you see it means you can change the picture. When you see the imperfections in the frame, you have creative control, not to the way sometimes that people want creative control, but you have the ability to change things around. Even if it's only on the inside, even if it's only moving my feet when I see a tree that I'd like to be somewhere else. I can move my feet and then that tree is somewhere else. Number one, notice the subtlety. The subtle injustice. Okay, we'll call it. Number two, notice the self-talk around that. How do you try to talk yourself out of making that something that is worth looking into? Number three, breathe. Don't blurt out right away what you see because you make yourself subject to being called nuts or hypercritical or always finding fault. Just breathe and think. Shh, strategy. I'm going to just be quiet right now and I'm going to think strategy. How do I share this in a way that moves this relationship into more of the kind of relationship that I seek? I hope you enjoyed this conversation about subtlety. Subtlety is a fun topic and one that I would love to have more conversations about. If there's something subtle that you see in your life or that you notice, if you are someone who notices a lot of subtlety and you don't really know how to talk about it or you don't have people to talk about it to because they don't see it, that would be a great podcast episode. Would you like to chat about that? I would love to have a conversation. I would love to have many conversations about subtlety with those who see subtlety. Because I think the more we talk about this, the more people will realize they do see it. But they've probably been squashing or silencing that voice and that seeing for a long time because it doesn't really fit in well with social norms. But let's explore it. Okay, get in touch if you would like to be a podcast guest and communicate, have a conversation. Neither one of us has to be an expert, right? Communication, conversation about the subtle realm, the things we pick up on that others don't. Or if you would like to talk about the strategy, what do you do? How do you handle it when these things are noticed and you want to say something, but you also want to do it carefully? Or I'm giving too many options here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope you have a wonderful day or evening. If you are someone that wants to explore subtlety, explore yourself a little more, reflect a little more, I have my journal prompt membership. You get a journal prompt every single day, Monday through Friday, to help you go deeper into these kinds of reflections, deeper into the subtle realm. so that you can deepen your relationships, strengthen your relationships first with yourself and God, and then with others, because that's the order it happens in. You get to know yourself so much more when you explore and when you validate these subtle snapshots that you get of people. Yeah, it's like I like taking pictures of nature, right? I frame things and then snap the picture. Well, our life is full of snapshots. Your relationships, the things you see, the people you're with, your view of the world is like you're taking pictures all day and all night long, except in your mind without the camera. Okay, have an awesome day, have an awesome evening, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.